Gamers, today we'll be doing House of Lancaster guide for season 11, and then we have KT guide to go. But here we go, House of Lancaster guide. It's been a while since I made one. I think the last one I made was on the release of the Civilization, so it has been a while. But here we go. I'm going to give you the newest update on how to play Lancaster and how the pro players have been playing it. Now, obviously, you know, Feudal Age, there's two landmarks. There's the Abbey of Kings, and then there's the good landmark. Abbey of Kings has not really seen pro play almost at all, simply because Lancaster Castle is just a lot better. So, I would say if you want to play Abbey for fun, in theory, Abbey is better because the Kings give your whole army extra HP, but in practice, in actual games, having the Lancaster Castle and Manors is just better. Now, the only thing that has changed since the release of House of Lancaster and since release of my last guide, which was to go 9 manors, is the amount of manors you make. So I know that might sound funny, but basically over time, pro players have gotten really good at figuring out how many manors you can make in which matchup, how many manors you should make, when to go fast castle, when to stop making manors, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to give you a little bit of insight on how to do those things. So we're going to do the standard opening, 6 on food. We're going to do 3 on gold, and then rally on food until the age up. This is something that's pretty standard. You're not going to change this ever. So yeah, that is the most standard build order. Now, Lancaster is somewhat dependent on their spawn. Basically, you either have a normal spawn or you have a really good spawn. There's no bad spawn, I would say. So you either have a really good spawn or just a average spawn. In this case, this is probably one of the best spawns you can get. I have double wood lines here with a super easy wall off. So, you know, if I'm about to get harassed or something, it's going to be very hard for the opponent. And then what you're looking for when you play House of Lancaster is your stone and your gold positioning. That is the only thing that matters for the landmark positioning for you. Now, let's say this stone was not here. Let's say this stone was there, okay? And let's say this wood line was not there. So let's say my stone was here, my gold was here, but I have another stone right here. What I would do then is I would simply make the House of Lancaster Castle landmark. I would make it right here, and then I would just get stone here, because the Lancaster Castle allows you to basically be a little bit greedy and not have to make any units before gathering. So that's how I would adapt to it, or maybe even build Lancaster Castle here and then build manors kind of in the back. But because this game I have the best possible scenario, which is stone and gold next to each other, I'm just going to make Lancaster Castle here, not too far out, and I'm going to make manors behind it. So the moment you start aging up, you're going to put 3 on stone immediately. You're going to be aging up with 3 villagers. This is very important. And you're going to put 3 on stone. You're going to leave 3 on food. So not 4, 3 on food, because they gather faster on the sheep. So you don't need 4, you need 3. And then you're going to put the 4 guys on wood. And you're going to just rally on wood until you get 9 villagers. Okay? So when do you make 3 manors? When do you make 6 manors? The age-old question. That's something that we've been figuring out for the past couple of months. Like I said, people have tried different strategies, but manors are just a little bit too good. Or this kind of playstyle in general, I would say. So, when to go 3, when to go 4. Well, you either go 3 or 6. I would not advise you to go 9. I just want to give a quick explanation, because the last guide I made was with 9 manors, but since then, everything Lancaster had or has been nerfed, from Demon Lancers to manors to Imperial Landmark. Like, everything has been nerfed. So, can you go 9 manors? Yeah. Is it as good? No. So, the general rule of thumb is you go 3 manors into fast castle whenever you're playing against a civ that likes to go fast castle, or whenever you feel like you want to maybe put pressure on the opponent or get the relics, like where relics are important. In the matchup where you have a little bit more time, I would advise you to go for 6 manors, and I'm going to show you 2 different games. One is with 3, one is with 6 manors against very, very strong civ, against HRE and Rus. So in this game, we're playing against Pro Scouting Holy Roman Empire. So what he's gonna do is Pro Scouting and then Fast Castle. So in this game, I'm only gonna go 3 manors. So why is that? If I go 6 manors and he goes Fast Castle, he will just get all the relics, and then I have 6 manors and I'm severely far behind because he's HRE with like 3, 4, 5 relics. So I kind of want to age up quicker in order to contest the relics, and then I will add more manors later on. So whether you go 3 or 6 is all about the timing. If you're playing against more passive civs, like let's say civs like Abbasid, or civs that like going to town center, or just slow civs like Byzantine, I think going 6 manors is more than fine. But generally, if you're playing against fast castle civs, you go 3. Now, another thing is, if you're getting pushed or all in, the best response to that, so let's say he went Pro Scout and he's just massing units. You can rush you can rush Castle and go White Tower, but it might get sketchy. My advice is, if you see that your opponent is making, you know, knights or horsemen and archers, and you're like, oh, I'm going to get rammed soon on my manors, I would advise you to just start dropping barracks, archer ranges, and then just defend yourself, okay? So don't be too greedy, because the moment you put down the manors, you're already ahead. So you just need to keep that lead. You need to maintain that lead. You don't need to take crazy risks. So as we age up to feudal, we're gonna leave 9 on wood. We're going to be building the manor, the first manor with 2. So the moment the landmark finishes, we're gonna build manor with 2 villagers. And if you look, I'm 19 out of 20. I'm about to be 20 out of 20. But the way the timing should work out, I have 20 seconds for this manor to finish, and he's gonna finish at a perfect time where I'm not pop capped at all. So everything is gonna be smooth and clean. Basically, the next 100 stone I have, I'm gonna make another manor, and then we're gonna make a 3rd manor right after that. Now we're rallying onto the gold because we wanna be able to slowly move towards castle. So you see 200 wood, 110 stone, we're gonna make another manor, boom, right there. Now if you're playing against a more aggressive, I would advise you to put manors behind. But if you're playing against a civ that might poke you or something, you can put manors kind of in front so that they can shoot arrows and defend you a little bit. So we keep going, building manors, gathering resources, another 100 stone, boom, make another manor, and we're gonna send the stone guys onto the gold. So we're gonna have 8 on gold, and we're gonna pull all the villagers from the wood. The moment we made a 3rd manor, we're gonna pull all the villagers from the wood onto the sheep. So this is what my worker split is looking like right now. Now, we used to go for a lot of Demi-Lancers. It was like the go-to. You always go Demi-Lancers. They have been nerfed so badly, they do like pathetic amount of damage. So I would not advise you to now go Demi-Lancers. They will not accomplish anything. They're very bad right now. So skip that. So if you look, he's Pro Scouting right now, and he is aiming to go Fast Castle after that. And because he's playing HRE, because he wants to go Fast Castle, I don't want to go 6 manors because I might be too late on the whole relic ordeal. Now, if you're noticing, you can see right here, I notice, oh, I'm lacking a little bit of gold, so I'm just going to pull 2 more workers in order to get that gold a little bit faster. I did some walls here just for protection, and now the Fast Castle is about to hit, so you can see I'm going to be basically 7-ish minutes, maybe 7:15, going castle with 3 manor. So that looks like a pretty decent timing. Now, what landmark do you age up with? Do you go King's College or do you go to White Tower? So both of them are viable and both of them are used at the top level, and I'll explain when to go for which one. In this game, I loved going for White Tower because if I go White Tower here, not only I'm defending my gold, not only I'm defending 3 manors, my landmark, I'm defending my 2nd gold and the stone. So that's option number 1, right? If I go for White Tower here, and you get 3 Earl's Guards, which you can go harass with. So that's really, really, really good value. So one of the bigger issues that Lancaster has is securing the 2nd gold, which is why top players opt for making the White Tower on the 2nd gold. But obviously, if the opponent is being aggressive, you can't do that, right? So if the opponent has army here, I can't just make a white tower because I'm going to lose villagers. So making white tower forward to protect your second gold is 90% of the time the best choice, but sometimes you can't do it and you either have to make it in your base or you have to go King's College. Now, when do you go King's College? King's College reduces the tech cost of all technologies in the game, like not just military, all of them by 15%, and you get some unique military upgrades. Now, which upgrades are really good in here? And in my opinion, when you should go King's College is whenever you're playing against a civ that you plan to either mass Hobelars or mass Knights. I would say those two are the most impactful. So for example, I'll give you a couple examples. I think King's College is great against Rus, because if Rus goes Horse Archers and you go Hobelars, their charge damage is increased, they produce faster, that's great value for you. If you're playing against Japanese, on the other hand, and Japanese goes Mounted Samurai, you making Knights into Mounted Samurai is usually not a good choice because Mounted Samurai are very good in Knight versus Knight battles. So going King's College in order to get +5 damage on your Knights against heavy will not give you as much value. But if you're playing against maybe French, you can go King's College in order to buff up your Knights if you want to go for a Knight-based comp. Now, if you're an infantry enjoyer where you're going to go Spearmen and Yeomen or Crossbows, then you should just stick to White Tower in that case. Another way you can use White Tower is you can White Tower food sources. So let's say I had a deer pack here. I could White Tower right here so that I protect my berries and I protect my deer. White Tower usually will protect the resources that you're going to need. Not now, but in a couple of minutes, right? So think about it that way. So we're going to go for the age up. And you can see I'm going right here. And basically, this is just immune to damage. This is not even like harder to harass. This is immune to damage. I don't need to worry about this at all. Even if he goes there, the White Tower will kill everything. And in this game, because he is going to try to get relics, and obviously I want to get relics, I'm going for Knights in order to get some map control. And to be able to harass the opponent and get some relics of my own. He is going Regnets. And immediately, because it's HRE, I'm going to immediately get a monastery and get some monks in order to get some relics, right? Now, the nice thing about White Tower with House of Lancaster is you get 3 Earl Guards, which you can immediately use to harass. So if you're getting all in, you can obviously use them to defend. But one really good thing about them is they throw daggers. Now, if you didn't know this, 3 Earl Guards throwing a dagger will one-shot a villager. So, the moment you go to your opponent's base, just don't lose them. Don't all in and lose them. Do this. Just go to their villagers and watch this. Whoop. 1 villager down. I didn't lose anything. So now what you want to do is just run around till you get dagger again. And just go back and one-shot another villager. It is actually really sick for harassment. And you can get so much value with them as long as you don't lose them immediately. Okay? So right now my goal is going to be to get these relics. I'm already back on stone, as you can see. So I have only 3 manors. I want to go up to at least 6, maybe even 9 manors, depending how the game is going. So I'm going to start making knights. And I'm going to just try to fight for the relics as much as I can. My knights are arriving. I'm doing some more harassment. My Earl Guards are winning. So far, the game is doing all right for me. Now, he did take 1 relic from here, which is the closest one to him. So again, just denying the relics. Just trying to yoink as many as I can and not let him have the relics because he is HRE. And this is how you would want to play against most civs that have strong Castle Age and want to go for relics like Japanese or HRE or Ayubit or whatever else. You gotta fight over those relics, fight over the map control. If you're playing against more passive civs where people are camping, you can go for 6 manors, even 9 manors, and just go fast Imperial or something crazy. And if you need a guide for that, it's also my YouTube channel, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. Now, I killed a prelate. I have 4 relics right now going home. I think he actually yoinks this one in the end. So his knights are super strong because he has the he's getting this upgrade, steel barding, so they're going to be really strong. But yeah, I end up losing this one, but I do get 3 relics and he gets 2, I think, in the end. So not ideal for me, but obviously I prevented him to get more than 2, so we'll take that as a win. So where do you go from here? You can see I have more manors. I'm going to go up to 9 manors because I have really good income right now. So I'm just going to go up to 9 manors. Again, this area is just immune to damage. I don't need to worry about it. So what is my plan right now? And a lot of people don't know how to transition from this. There's 2 options really. Number 1 is you just commit and you keep pushing because your manors give you a lot of income. So your opponent should and will always run out of food first, okay? Because you have these manors that are giving you bonus food, you 60 food every minute for each manor, which means that your opponent will run out of food first and have to go on the map. So the logic is, as long as you keep pushing and keep attacking, eventually his economy will be spread out and then you can start doing some real damage. On the other hand, if the opponent is super passive, or maybe they're playing like English or something, or you just don't feel comfortable pushing and try to force games to end or do some damage, you could just go fast Imperial from here. So I would just go 9 manors, get some villagers on the berries, and just go Imperial from then on into the Windguard Palace, aka the Demon Landmark, and then just get a lot of production value from that. Another thing you can do, by the way, is you could add a second town center if you wanted to, but you just gotta be careful to not go 9 manors into second TC because you might just die from the opponent pushing you, okay? So, in this specific game, there are the manors, and I feel like now is a pretty decent time to go muster the nobles, because not only I have knights, but these guys, I'm gonna produce 11 of them, so they're gonna be pretty good at soaking the damage, just being like kind of like a buffer for my army. And I feel like now that you get 11 for 500 resource cost, I feel like that's pretty decent value, even though they only do 10 damage per hit. So now my army just looks a lot more massive, right? It looks like I have 20 raiding cavalry, which in fact is just mostly demon lancers. So in this game, I decide to go for a push, because when you play against HRE, you don't really want to let them chill, because they will most likely go fast Imperial, and he is doing exactly that. So, I'm trying to harass here, and I kind of notice here, by the way, that his Lancer count didn't, or Knight count didn't really increase. So, I see the Imperial hitting, but I'm already making crossbows. So this game, I decided to go for a big push. I got 3 archer ranges, I got 2 stables, and I'm just constantly cranking units, getting the upgrades, and my goal is to just go for it straight away. So, right now, every second it passes, he's going to be further and further ahead. So what I want to do is I want to make sure to push and either do severe amounts of damage or just straight up end the game. So I see Palace of Swabi is right there. And what I did, and this is something you can do not only against HRE, but you can do it against OTD or Japanese or English, any civilization that is very hard to break their base. You can just bring 2 villagers forward and build Siege Workshop and build trebuchets in order to start trebbing their buildings. So I'm just gonna speed through because this part is, you know, it just shows you how to maybe end games, but it's not necessarily super important for the guide part. So just gonna make some trebs. I made a ram, and my goal is to just push and end the game. And if you look, remember how I was talking about earlier, if you have manors, you will be the one that still has food and the opponent will not. Well, if you look right now, his food per minute is 321. He just put villagers on the berries, and I think some deer just arrived because this map has a crap ton of deer. But his income is basically, he's not producing any units except culverins because he's gathering wood and gold, but not so much food. Meanwhile, on the other side, I just went outside of my base on food at 17 minutes. And I can go on deer, I can go on boar if I wanted to, because I have full map control, okay? So, the trap comes out, we're just gonna keep pushing. I have so many units right now, you can see, because I'm fully producing. I see culverin, so I'm gonna make a little stone wall so that my traps can fire over it and culverin cannot shoot through them. And Palace of Swabia goes down, emergency repairs. This is gonna go down. And that's it. So, that is the how to play Lancaster with 3 manors into Fast Castle. Now I'm gonna show you another variation, which is gonna be 6 manors. And we're gonna play against Rus. And both of these civs are top civs at the high level. So we're not playing against some Pepega civs, you know, and I'm just stomping easy mode. So Rus versus House of Lancaster is a bit different to HRE because Rus also wants to get relics, but at the same time, Rus is not going to benefit crazy amounts like HRE will, right? So with Rus, you kind of have a little bit more time to play around with. So you'll see what I mean in a second right here. So we're going to do the same build order. We're going to speed through this part. I'm not going to talk about the build again. House of Lancaster. By the way, I swear this was 2 games in a row, and I got the really good spawn 2 games in a row. I don't think it matters in this matchup, by the way, because Rus is not going to harass your like villagers and stone or gold, but we'll take it. We'll take it. So, same thing, same villagers and wood. There is going to be some difference when you go 6 manors, which I'm going to show you guys in a second. But once again, we're going to go, I think this time I might go 10 on wood, and then we're going to rally onto the, oh no, we're going to go 9 on wood still, and then we're going to rally onto the gold. So why do we want to rally onto the gold? So last game we rallied onto the gold because we want to go for fast age up. This time we're rallying onto the gold because we want to get condensed land practices so we can get to 6 manors in the first place. So again, every 100 stone, you're going to make a manor with 1 villager. Nothing new there. There we go. And the moment your first manor finishes, and the moment the second manor is either finished or about halfway done, what you want to do is you want to remove the villagers from food. Okay? This manor gives you 60 food per minute. So by the time the second manor finishes, you're going to have enough food per minute to be constantly producing vills. You can see I have 1 extra queued up. So this is kind of the timing. I would advise you when the second manor is finished, just do that. Swap villagers from sheep onto the gold. Because we want to make sure we get a lot of gold very quickly so that we can continue the manor boom happening. So we got 9 on wood, 3 on stone, making another manor, and we have 10 on gold right now, one of them building the manor. The next thing we're gonna get is condensed land practices right here, boom. And as the third manor is now finishing, there it is. The upgrade will finish soon after, and you can see how it lines up almost perfectly. Look, as it's finishing, we're gonna get 100 stone. So once you have 10 on gold, 3 on stone, you're gonna go back on food, okay? The reason for that is you wanna make sure you're now working towards the age up, so you're gonna need food in order to do that. Now, we're gonna get another manor, and then another manor, and then another manor for a total of 6. So, in this case, do you go now for Demon Lancers? So, I think that in this game, because you have 6 manors, so it's not only 3, you get a little bit more value from Muster the Nobles. So I would say if you're playing against a pro scouting civ, or you want to harass your opponent, if you're playing against a civ that can be harassable, or maybe your opponent's being too greedy, you can just pop Muster the Nobles, and you will get 7 Demi Lancers, which again, they don't do a lot of damage, but 7 of them require some kind of response, right? They can't just completely ignore it. So, again, still rallied onto food. And we're gonna keep villagers on wood until we build the manors up. And the moment we build them, we're gonna pull them onto the food so we can get the fast castle. Okay, so that is kind of the difference between this one and the previous game. You can also, if you're missing stone, by the way, like I am this game, I put a couple of extra villagers in stone just to make sure I get the last manor a little bit quicker. And you can see I have 317 wood. I only need 200 for the sixth manor, so I'm going to pull onto the food and go towards that age up. There we go. And we start muster the nobles. Now, in order for the muster of nobles to actually give you a Demi-Lancer, the manor needs to be completed, which is why I'm making the last one with 3 villagers, so that once Master of Nobles is completed, look at this timing. Boom. And now we get full Demon Lancer coming out. We get 8 of them. Oh, I said 7. Yeah, you get 8 of them. So now what I can do is I can potentially deny the relics, maybe deny some of the pro scouting, just be annoying overall on the map, have some kind of map presence, buy myself some time as well. So you can do kind of a couple of different things with them. And obviously he's going for fast age up, but I'm almost there too. Now another thing you can do against pro scouting civs, by the way, is there's a full deer pack here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a tower and a mill, so that way I deny the pro scouting from the opponent and I get some extra food for myself locked in. So here he's trying to pro scout. I'm going to be annoying. Again, I'm not expecting to kill villagers or do some severe amounts of damage. I'm just being annoying and forcing him to maybe not go across the map to fight me, but try to defend himself. Now, remember how I told you that you want to put the white tower on your second gold? Well, in this game, I don't have a second gold right here. So if I had a gold here, I would just put a white tower probably right there. But because I don't and we're playing on Gorge, I really only have a couple of options, right? I have an option to go here, which only gives me 1 gold and that's it. I could go white tower here, but 4 of the deer already taken. So that's not going to give me a lot of value. So for me, the only possible option, and this is a really good white tower, is here at the top. So I get big gold, I get small gold right here, I get berries and boar and 3 little forests. So this was a really good value white tower, and that's why I went for it. So this is securing me like a crap ton of resources, and now my whole base is kind of immune to raiding. There's nowhere that the opponent can attack me where I'm weak to harass, right? This is protected by the manors, this is protected by the white tower, so I'm just chilling right now. So same thing again. We are going to be going for monastery to try contest the relics, because again we're playing against the fast castle civilization. Now the difference in this game is I saw horse archers, so I don't want to make knights into horse archers. I want to make Hobelar. Hobelar are very good counter against horse archers, because they have bonus damage against ranged. They have 188 movement speed, and horse archers have 162. So if he comes here, he will basically lose a couple of horse archers if he tries to run away. So Hobelars are very good into them, and they're very cheap. They're 70 food, 20 gold, 15-second production time, so you can mass them like crazy fast. Earl's Guards, you can just move them to either deny relic or deny deer or whatever else, trying to harass your opponent if you wanted to. And now it's going to be a little dance between the relic stuff. I'm getting +1 ranged armor. Now this game, I was thinking about going King's College, by the way, and it would not be a bad choice. So what I could have also done here is I could have walled here, wall here, and I have all this for myself, and I don't need a white tower. And I could have gone King's College to get the Hobelar upgrade, which would be really good value. But yeah, I just decided to go white tower. So in this case, both white tower and King's College would be a good option, and I think it's more of a preference thing, or maybe what you're feeling like in the moment, you know. So yeah, but King's College would get some really good value. And once again, we're gonna go back on stone in order to get some more manors very soon. At this point, by the way, because he's going horse archers, if you know that your opponent can't kill you, you can also make a second town center, right? You don't need to go up to 9 manors. Like, you can just make manors in Imperial again. You could go second TC and then just boom your economy that way. So right here, we're fighting over the relics, and if you look, this is what the fights look like. Demon Lancers are just kind of absorbing a lot of damage, but you can see Hobelars are plowing through these horse archers, and every time he stops to shoot, he gets hit, and they're very, very cheap, my Hobelars, so I feel pretty good about it. We got open field system coming to go up to 9 manors, and all the gaming right now is we're just fighting over relics, right? And now that the relics are almost complete, almost vacuumed, I think I got 2, and I think he got 3, if I'm not mistaken. Which, you know, I went 6 manors into Fast Castle. He got Fast Castle a lot sooner than me. So having 2 relics versus 3, I feel pretty good about that. Obviously, you don't want to end like 0-5 or 1-4, but 2 to 3 relics against one of the Fast Castle civs is going to be a pretty good result for you. Now we're going to get some eco upgrades, we're going to get more manors, and from here on out, what is my goal? Well, you have a crap ton of cavalry. I can go for raiding. He can't really go for raiding because he just has horse archers and some knights, so my raiding is going to be a lot better because I can also sacrifice these units where he doesn't really want to sacrifice his horse archers because you want to have a big stack of horse archers. You don't want to lose them and trade them out. So we fight here a little bit. I've overextended that fight, shouldn't have taken it, but it is what it is. And now we got relic parties completed, and now, same as H3 game, the transition starts. So what do I want to do here? There's no best move here. You can do a couple of different things. Okay, I could go second town center out and just camp, maybe even make a Mangon or something, transition to spearman, crossbow, or I could keep being aggressive. The worst part, I would probably say, is go Fast Imperial, which is why Fast Imperial hasn't been as popular recently unless the opponent is super passive, okay? But because he has a lot of units, I don't want to go Fast Imp because I'm worried I'm just going to end up dying. So what I'm doing is I'm going to add a lot of archer ranges and go crossbows to counter the knights, and then I have Hobelars to counter the horse archers. So his army is right now better because I took a bad engage early on. But again, I'm just pumping out units. Earl's guards are doing some harassment over here, just being a little bit annoying. And now, watch this. Because he's not diving, I just took a massive army, 25 Hobelars. I went all the way around. He did not see my army. And I can do a raid. Okay? So this is the thing. Because I'm playing Lancaster, I have so much defensive power with these buildings and defensive DPS. A lot of my economy is even here, so I could just run away with his villagers there and be completely fine. But if I do a massive raid on him, he's gonna take a lot of damage. So I have crossbows. I'm also making some knights now because I need some units for a straight up fight, okay? So knights would be good against knights, and knights would be pretty tanky against horse archers, and then I have crossbows. I also saw that he has archers, so making spearmen into this perhaps wouldn't be the greatest idea. So I just go for knights to tank for my crossbows because my crossbows are gonna do really good amounts of damage. So behind this, I see that his army is here. So what I want to do is I want to defend, and we do a massive raid at the same time. So I had 2 worker kills. Now the dive starts, and this is where all the arrows shooting at his ass from the manors, from the Lancaster castle, from the TC gets really awkward for him. Meanwhile, my Hobelars got 6 ranged armor, so even if the TCs are shooting at me, I don't care. I also have no idle time right now. All my villagers are gathering. All his villagers are idle at this point. So I'm just target firing the villagers, pressing shift Q on his villagers, and he goes for dive because it's place of no going back, right? But obviously with all the manors and stuff, I managed to defend. And if you look, the game just went completely the opposite way from what it was earlier. 27 worker kills. 27. I got 25 kills in that one raid. So right here, I'm 2 TC. I have 9 manors. I am chilling. This is a basically unlosable position. The only way to lose it is if I completely just throw it. So I can go for another raid while I'm building up my eco, making farms. He's doing some raiding, but I have just crazy good amount of units. So I'm just chilling. I'm just trying to wall, extending my lead, doing some more raiding over here. I know that he's on 2 TC, so yeah. And here, we're gonna do some pushing. If you look at my army, it is massive. Even though he has a lot of horsemen, I've reached a number of crossbows that is so many that I can even kill horsemen, sorry, and I can just kite him away. But my income is crazy good. If you look, I paused the game right here. 465 versus 2,100, 1.1k versus 1.1k. Gold, I'm ahead, and then stone, no one's mining it. So I'm going with Windguard, with the demon landmark. These 2 villagers. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back. I'm going to upgrade my crossbows. I'm going to do some harassment to distract. Meanwhile, again, he goes for the dive with crap ton of horsemen. But like I said, I have so many crossbows that they just do really good DPS. And it's hard for him to get a good surround with all these buildings. He makes a 3rd TC, which he loses. And once again, I took a really good fight. He is nowhere close to Imperial. And I can already immediately, watch this, as I age up, I know that his army comp is Horse Archer Horseman or Horseman Archer, so I'm just gonna immediately switch to 7 barracks and start producing Spearmen plus Earl Guard, the garrison command from the Windguard Palace, and basically I'm gonna just transition to either Spearman Hand Cannoneer or Spearman Earl Guard Hand Cannoneer, or maybe some Yeoman, or continue to make crossbows. My economy is fully set up, my farms are fully set up. He's got some farming, but not too much, so I'm in a lot better spot. So I'm just gonna get the demons from the landmark. I'm getting a veteran yeoman. I'm getting the upgrade Scutage. That's gonna give me gold from the manors. And look at that army all of a sudden. That's crazy good eco. And I would say this is the strength of Lancaster, which is once you're set up, you're just producing absurd amount of units. Like, look at this. I'm in 100 army supply. His hasn't moved. He's trying to rush Spetskaya, but this is where the Demon Lancer Civ comes in, and you're just, once you have 9 manors and once you have like 10, 20 farms, you're just permanently just printing units, and it becomes very difficult for your opponent to deal with. So, what are the biggest strengths and advantages and disadvantages of Lancaster? The disadvantage is obviously going to be being super predictable in what you're going to do. I think some trade civs can do really well against House of Lancaster, because if they go trade, you have to either attack them and kind of all in into their trade, because you cannot outboom them with manors against trade. And your army can sometimes feel pretty immobile, especially if you're focused on like the spearman crossbow comp. That's why I prefer to open with knights to give myself some like breathing room and harass the opponent instead of just sitting in my base. The advantages are obviously you run out of food way later compared to your opponent. It's very easy to play, I think, and following the same build order over and over is a lot easier than having to like react to stuff all the time. And I just think that the option of having Lancaster Castle and White Tower makes it a lot harder for your opponent to raid you, and makes it a lot easier for yourself to just defend and kind of not have to worry about taking damage compared to some of the other civs. So that is it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed how to play Lancaster, House of Lancaster in Season 11. The only guide that I do not have right now is updated guide for KT for land maps, so that's going to be next. But if you're interested in any of the civs in Age of Empires 4, I have 17 guides, including this one, out right now for Season 11, so go check them out, with multiple build orders shown, just like in this one. Even though technically it's the same build, there's a massive difference between 3 and 6 manors. So there it is. The next one is going to be KT. So if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. Check me out live. I stream on Twitch and YouTube pretty much every single day. And if you're watching live right now, let's keep going.